I sent the message to him and I said, sir, hey, she favor for me, sir. You invested. If I didn't have the talent, you wouldn't have invested in me in the first place. You saw that I had the talent and you had the technique, because the technique makes the talent shine. And that was what you did. But you are sounding like you did me a favor, like you picked me off the street. For heaven's sake, my father was a senior manager with UBA. You didn't pick me off the street. I was not a street girl. I even had no street sense. I came from a privileged background. And the story he kept telling people is that he picked me off the street. I was a nobody, for heaven's sake. My father was the Baba Adini of Ondo Kingdom before he passed. Till tomorrow, go to UBA and find out if I'm lying. I'm sure they have their records. Who was Alhaji H.O. Olumuyiwa? That's my father. He was the senior manager in UBA, I think, between 1980 and 1986. A funeral branch. The records are there. So he didn't pick me up on the street like he told people, and that I was a non-entity. He was trying to help me. He wasn't trying to help me. Which businessman will, because he wants to help you, invest heavily in you? The other one took my name to the graveyard, and I saw it. And like, he put my picture on the graveyard and put candle. I started calling some incantations. I'm like, So when I got to the studio the following day, I called, before we started real, I said, hey, John, to your long, me ò bá tẹ̀yàn kankan wá síbí. Mo bá yàn kankan dùn kankan. Mo wá sign contract láti pé kí ògo mi lè yọ ni. Ẹ John, to your long, ẹ má pa mí, ẹ má yà mí wèrè. Mo believe pé Ọlọ́run láti wá ṣí mi lójú nígbà yẹn, but mi ò. So gbà yẹn làwọn ọmọ mi wá sọ fún mi pé, hey, madam, yèyé o, ẹ má ṣe báyìí mọ́, ẹ má ṣe báyìí mọ́, ẹ má ṣe báyìí mọ́. Ṣé ẹ ṣàkíyèsí pé nǹkan báyìí ló ń bí ni? Ṣé ẹ rí nǹkan báyìí ni? Ṣé ẹ rí nǹkan, àwa ò kí ń jẹ mọ́, àwa ò kí ń mú mọ́. Ibi tẹ́ bá sùn sí, omi yà sí mímọ́. And I was never a celeb person. I come from a Muslim background, but I went to an Anglican school, and all of that. So at the end of the day, I stopped taking all of those things. I wasn't eating the food I was given. I took to the instruction of the person. Because that day, I was actually in Alausa. I didn't know what was going on. I went to see the then commissioner. I had no clue that they was going to have that show that day. So when somebody now called me from the shrine, like, my boy said you are backstage. I said, I'm not at the shrine, no. Me, I'm in Alausa right now. He said, but they are taking pictures with you. And now caught somebody. I now caught somebody at the shrine. I was even told that, I'm not sure. But they said even Yemi Alade took picture with her, saying, oh, I've been wanting to meet you. I'm like, I said, Baba le ma jẹ́ títí láíláí. Said, tí iṣẹ́ bá wà, tẹ́ bá pè mí kí n wá ṣiṣẹ́. Lórí owó ni màá ṣe, màá gba owó mi màá kúrò. That is the kind of regard I had. Like I said, I'm a very optimistic person. I look at the good side, just forget the bad. He gave me a platform, don't forget. And I will forever appreciate that platform. But one share that with me. And I wrote it in that message. I said, I miss you. I miss our creative sessions. I miss all our rehearsals. But what our boys about me by Mama Baba Shebai, Baba Shebai, the creativity, because he has a mannerism. So we all joke about, even he knows that we joke about it. You understand? So I said, I miss those. Yes, if he cheated me. When you're saying, what doesn't kill you makes you strong. Now look ahead. Motigbo. You understand? And my father said, and as at the time I now wanted to leave, my father said, Nibo, I sent you to school to study law. You said you didn't want to study law. You took yourself to this, you did IGMB. We found out you were not in school at all. I pitied you. You took JAMB again. I paid. You went back, you passed. Because, way. You went back to school, you studied English, Ambrose University. Then this person came again. You said if you don't allow you to do it, wasakuru only. I was very stubborn. So my father said, le kuro mbe o. Unto tori to kuro school ele keji yen o ma she toni. So unto ju about rimbe ma dije. So I had to face it. And my mom said, my mom is a disciplinarian. My mom said that unti baba so yen no la ma she. You understand? So, I had to let her know. I said, sir, through the message I sent to her, I said, tell him he didn't do me a favor. He invested and he made his money. What did I leave with? I left with my name, my talent intact. I bless God.
Just your name and your life.
My name and my life. My name, my talent, my life. Because I was almost insane when I left. I went through hell. So, and my son's dad, who was the only guy that could take the threat, because there were two other people who wanted to date me. He physically threatened them, do you want to die? You understand? So he was the only one that could withstand it. That's why
the Atunda boss even threats people that want to even marry you. I mean, make you to feel like a woman.
Yes.
He didn't want you to even marry again.
He told me I was going to get married at age 40 and I was going to choose my husband.
40K? Yes. Then he will be the one to even choose your husband. Yes. That is something else. That's maybe the Atunda is something else. Maybe Atunda's inconvenient.
Thank you. Now, there is an aspect of the entire thing that I don't want to talk about. Me if you go into sorrow because 1 year only. So, my thing but fun or abrono so from Oluwabi. Abiba no owo yen o lo agidigbo ologbon ni ngbo omoran ni se kini o ti ye okini. So of course we got personal. Towards the time I was rounding up, we got personal, and maybe wanted to use that too. Maybe I won't leave, but the scales fell off my eyes, and I said to him, "Agbayani, efio eri milomo de remije."
How did he react when you told him that truth?
He said, "Toba Sony anyway, I'll deny it." You understand? So I think he's somebody who lives in denial. Like I said, that platform, if only there was honesty, if only there was transparency and lack and no manipulation, it will have been the best in Africa. Churning out talents upon talents upon talents upon talents. You know. So I sent the message to him and I said, "Sir, hey, she favor for me, sir. You invested. If I didn't have the talent, you wouldn't have invested in me in the first place. You saw that I had the talent and you had the technique, because the technique makes the talent shine. And that was what you did. But you are sounding like you did me a favor, like you picked me off the street. For heaven's sake, my father was a senior manager with UBA. You didn't pick me off the street. I was not a street girl. I even had no street sense. I came from a privileged background, uneducated. It was just my talent and my passion to be who I am. I didn't go into entertainment because I was hungry, no. I was hungry to make a change, to do the to deliver my talent for the world, to enjoy my talent, because I'd been performing. Because at the end of the year for UBA children party, then in Warri, I would perform. Even in Akure, I would perform. My father got me a keyboardist. I wrote my first song before I was 10 years old. My first song I ever released was a song I did for Nelson Mandela, Freedom to Nelson Mandela, and it was all over radio in Akure at the time. And my first time on TV was in 1987, OSRC, still there, record till today. Ondo State Radio, Ondo State Corporation, TV, OSRC. Yes. That was the first time I was on TV. So it's not like my father started as my manager. My father started this entire work. My father invested in me, which was why he would go to meetings with me. My father paid for my first radio interview, he didn't even have to pay, because as the bank manager then, everybody wanted favors from the bank manager. So all the TV stations, that's why in Warri, my dad was a bank manager to the Hebrews, to the Okumagba, to a lot of these big people in Warri then. My father was UBA was the bank. If you were not with UBA, it was like there was no other, but it was UBA and UBA only then. UBA was everywhere. Wise men bank with UBA, So people wanted favors from my dad. So it took me to different places, performed interviews, television, radio, then papers. So when I got to, of course, then from then to Obafemi Lasode Even Ezra Studios, then to Atunda. But one thing he said to me when I started was that he didn't want anybody to know that I started anything before. So he didn't even want people to mention Even Ezra. He didn't want people to mention that, I was once Sherifa, I was once Yemoja, I was once Lola Ola. He wanted to erase that past, like, okay, you just started. And the story he kept telling people is that he picked me off the street. I was a nobody, for heaven's sake. My father was the Baba Adini of Ondo Kingdom before he passed. Till tomorrow, go to UBA and find out if I'm lying. I'm sure they have their records. Who was Alhaji H.O. Olumuyiwa? That's my father. He was the senior manager in UBA, I think, between 1980 and 1986. A funeral branch. The records are there. So he didn't pick me up on the street like he told people, and that I was a non-entity. He was trying to help me. He wasn't trying to help me. Which businessman will, because he wants to help you, invest heavily in you, give you such a platform? I was not the only one that was auditioned. There were a lot of other people that were auditioned.
For your own shine? Before
my own shine. Do you remember Funke Celine Dion?
Of course, it is today I'm asking of her. I don't even know. At the time, they say she has lost her senses. And she was very brilliant, very talented. One of the best, because in those days, myself, Alhaji Teju Karim, and the other man, Mr. Obalano, we're all following Z Mirage from Songo to Ikeja. Funke Celine Dion was the in then. After ARALOLA, you were on your own level. You are in a different class. But Funke Celine Dion was something we all look out for. But suddenly, we learned she started sleeping on Island Avenue, walking around. So what happened?
Let me tell you, Funke Celine Dion recorded a song, the Celine Dion song. Yoruba, produced by OJB, the late OJB. She had done all of that, I think won an award before Atunda picked her up. She was on Atunda Entertainment. She ran. I didn't know. So when I started going through stuff, I reached out to Funke then. I said, Funke, why did you leave? She said, nothing. But what Baba used to say was that, she's going to come back. She will beg. I'll make her beg. If you go on Funke's Facebook page, she curses him out. That he was the one that wanted to kill her. He was the one that destroyed her. He was the one that made her go mental. Go to her page. You will see it there. It's not hidden. I wish as we are talking now, let me search for it so people can go on that girl's page themselves and go and look for it. I pray that, oh God, I pray, So, she by the time, before you knew it, she was on the streets. She was at one of the shrine then.
Femi Kuti's shrine or something like that.
This was a huge, extremely beautiful lady.
She was busy smoking in the shrine.
She was dancing in the cage, which for her at that point in time, she felt it was what she needed. I'm not opposed to that. People who do that, it's probably their passion. You understand? Right. So at the end of the day, she lost her mind. I think Flip TV and a couple of other people reached out to her and helped her. They took her to Oshogbo. I think she's in Oshogbo now. She's been there, She curses him out every time. And I don't want to mention other people's name because she mentions their name too, that these are the people who turned their destiny from good to bad. She mentions this man's name, that is evil. Go on her page. The Facebook page is scrolling. You will be scrolling on the screen. Our Facebook page will be scrolling on the screen. Yeah, exactly. So it will be there. You understand? Funke, I'm trying to remember her last name, but before we are done, I'm sure we'll have it and everything.
Why is that happening? Why do people do that? I mean, you manipulate a star, you only use the star to make money, and at the end of the day, it appears that some maybe because I told a television friend sometimes ago who wanted me to write a book for him, I said there are people that we call native Yorubas who use people and they don't want the people to be strong, to be, Sonia Ade, we said, Obe, we say, Ebenezer Obe said, ayé ò fẹ́ ní fọ̀rọ̀ orí ẹni ló ń yọ ní mi ò sí nílé wọn kọ́yán mi kéré mi ò sí lájò wọ́n fẹ́ pàṣọ mi dá àmọ́ ṣá olúwa ń bẹ lẹ́yìn mi ìràwọ̀ mi ò káyé má bara omi jẹ́ ìràwọ̀ mi ò káyé má para omi dá o ayé ló ṣe láti láfikún lórí káyé má ṣe wá ká má ká gbà kó mo tẹ́wọ́ mi sókè sọ́bẹ̀ Elédùmarè mo tẹ́wọ́ mi sókè kí má kábàámọ̀ o. Why do you think people do this to destinies?
Mr. Sabe, I don't know. Only God can answer. And Tito Palabi sang in one of her songs, I think the Latino, you did it? Ojo Ogun Laye Je Feni Towaye Wa Sherere. And in Ojo Ogun we're going to meet people like this, and many more, even worse. Kolon Shanwa, Kolon Abolon Komaye Loriwani. Because many people passed through it and never made it out. When I look back on my journey with Atunda, I ask myself, what did you take away from this 7 years experience? Apart from your name, your talent, and your life, a fantastic platform that will have been the best in Africa. But you see, no matter how you say this, he would never, ever accept that he's doing anything wrong because he sees it like it was favor.
That's how people like them behave. They will tell you that and the children of this generation are trying to avoid people like them. Come about because Allah no le she and another person le she.
Absolutely. Ọlọ́run ló ń ṣe ṣùgbọ́n ènìyàn ni Ọlọ́run máa rán kọ́lọ́ máa kí báwo mo ṣe fẹ́ sọ because at the end of the day you look at it back and forth and like okay I had so much respect for this person and taking advantage of that, but you see what doesn't kill you makes you strong. Yes, so
that means that tough time for tough people. Now, let me ask you, at what time did you discover that you have to escape? Because you've had two men approach you for marriage and it scared them off and said, look, at what time did your husband now came and how did the scale fall? Because I'm interested because I was also moving from Fame magazine to Hallmark in those days and we're all tracing you, but at the time you just traveled out after your marriage. At what time did you say, enough is enough? Is it your husband that came in that made it happen? And what was the experience like?
It was even some of the band members who attended Cele. That
Celestial Church of Christ.
Because I was being nice to them. One particular experience happened. One or two people from the band who left when I just got there came to ask me for money to eat. So I gave them. After a week, I started realizing that I'll just wake up in the middle of the night. The things I say in my room, I can't explain. I just want to run. One day, in the middle of the night, around 2 a.m., I ran out of the house. I was going to run to the street. Then something held me back, like, Kilonlie, Pada. So I had a dream. What I was seeing, I couldn't understand. I knew that there was somebody after me. I didn't know what it was. Until one of the band members now came to me and say, I want to tell you something, make you no verse. That money when you give us, that we'll go take chop. We not take and chop, carry and go Babalawo house. No verse. I not follow them go do the juju, but the thing we will do be say make you for run mad. So now these are people that I felt like, oh, my guys are hungry, I give them. So one of them came back to beg me and tell me that this is what they went to do. And I just cried to God and I prayed and I blessed God that Olorun will show to me Yahweh real.
This is very shocking.
Yes, Olorun will show to me.
Almost the same thing happened to Dekule Fuji too, that he shared just 2-3 months ago, that he lost his mind, he went to America. Dekule Fuji, in fact, he said he was even driving at the bar beach wanted to carry the car. He went on stage and he misperformed at the experience, and people were saying, I shot him Mugboni, and he went into the crowd and people were saying, oh, Mugboni, and he didn't smoke, he didn't drink. Then he went to America for years. He lost his mind. He was just roaming the whole of America. Then when he got his mind back, he said, somebody now calling that, you have so amount in our account, you have abandoned your money in our account, where are you? So when he came back, he started doing Uber. It was in that Uber that a prophet now told him that a band boy was one that took your clothes to go and use it. Then when he called the band boy, that one started begging that Ogamu Emma Binu, that movie she sharing Joe Dari Jimmy, not in Gia. And he said he parked his car and cried. I couldn't even drive that car to that place. Somebody have to come and drive the car. So it appears that a similar thing to you. Why do you think that happened to you? And when that person begged, what now happened?
That person didn't beg me. The one that there were 3, but I recently heard from one of the band members that still works with me till today that one of them is actually mental on the street. He said he was walking on the street one day, and when he looked, he said, this is Lagbaja now. Tamedoreke. Abonko. And I said, are you sure? He said, yes. He said, the boy is on the street. It's mental.
Who did the job go?
One of the 3. The 2 of them went ahead. The 3rd one didn't go with them, but he gave them money from the money I gave them that they shared. The other one took my name to the graveyard, and I saw it. And he put my picture on the graveyard and put candle. I started calling some incantations. I'm like, So when I got to the studio the following day, I called, before we started real, I said, hey, John, long, me ol bá tẹ̀yàn kankan wá síbí. Mo bá yàn kankan dùn kankan. Mo wá sign contract láti pé kí ògo mi lè yọ ni. Ẹ John torí Ọlọ́run, ẹ má pa mí, ẹ má yà mí wèrè. Nǹkan bye mo rí, because God has blessed me with this gift of, So I said, tí mo rí kò dẹ̀ tàn mí jẹ. Pé nígbà tí bye, I saw the same thing. And before I knew it, somebody came to confess to me that they took my name for that. So that's just 1 or 2. Apart from that, then so I was nice to a lot of them. So one of them came to me and said, because they call me Yeye. He said, Yeye Ewa Tori Eshorin la fún mi ẹjọ́. First song fún yín. Láti bye lọ. Tomati fún yín ní kankan ní Atunda. Ẹ má jẹ mọ́. Ẹ má mu mọ́. Ibi tẹ́ ń sùn sí ẹ gbọ́ mi yà sí mímọ́. Ẹ má yà sí mímọ́. Because then I was not allowed to go to church. There was an American that was brought to work with me. Her name is Anita. Anita, when she got to Nigeria, we met in Miami when I received the key to the city of Miami. Yeah. She was one of the people that was assigned to help to work with us. So Anita, they all wanted to come to Nigeria, motherland. So Anita relocated to Nigeria to work with Atunda. When she got to Atunda, the day she arrived, our accommodation was not put together. I think she was supposed to stay in Ikoyi. So she got so upset. I said, you know what, come to my house. Come stay with me. So she started living in my room with me. So one day, she would go to the shrine. She used to, she would go to the shrine, do stuff. So I noticed those things in her bag. So I now told the founder that I noticed something with Anita. We need to talk to her, etc., etc. But I don't know if you talked to her or anything. I don't know. So Anita, one day she had a dream. She woke up around 5 a.m. She started screaming. She screamed the house down. She said, there's snakes all over you. Can't you see? She's an American. Can't you see? I said, Anita, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, you need to leave. You need to get out of here. So when she calmed down, I said, what did you say? She had a dream. The entire compound was filled with serpents, and that she carried me on her back so I could escape. That you need to leave. You cannot stay here. They're going to kill you. So I said, okay. Now, after then, I wanted to start going to church. Anita called me. Anita, I was supposed to be going to church with Anita. Anita called me and said, you know what, Ara, I don't think I'm going to stay here for long. I don't want to die. You know what? She used some F words that you and I are going to be going to church, and he told me, if you take her to church, I'll kill you. Anita told me. And I'm like, he said that to you? He said, yes, you can't go to church. She cannot. I don't believe in whatever it is you guys do. So, not long after, Anita left.
Back to your loneliness.
Back to my loneliness. I believe Ọlọ́run láti wá ṣí mi lójú nígbà yẹn, but mi ò. So gbà yẹn làwọn ọmọ mi wá sọ fún mi pé, hey, madam, yeye o, ẹ má ṣe báyìí mọ́, ẹ má ṣe báyìí mọ́, ẹ má ṣe báyìí mọ́. Ṣé ẹ ṣàkíyèsí pé nǹkan báyìí ló ń bí ni? Ṣé ẹ rí nǹkan báyìí ni? Ṣé ẹ rí nǹkan àwa ò kí ń jẹ mọ́, àwa ò kí ń mú mọ́. Ibi tẹ́ bá sùn sí, omi yà sí mímọ́. And I was never a celeb person. I come from a Muslim background, but I went to an Anglican school, you know, and all of that. So at the end of the day, I stopped taking all of those things. I wasn't eating the food I was given. I took to the instruction of the person. Then he had a prophet talk to me on the phone. You understand? And the prophet spoke, and the prophet came to the house without them knowing. So the prophet came, and the prophet prayed for me. The prophet talked to me and said, you know what, this is what you're going to do. Now, some deep things happened before I could break free.
From that shackle?
Yes, from that shackle. But they didn't know. I was taken to Sele headquarters in Cotonou.
That's Port Novo?
Yes. I was taken there. That's where I went for deliverance and prayer. From that moment onwards, everything changed. I became alert.
You got your senses back and you became sensitive.
I became highly sensitive. So, of course, around that time, my ex-boyfriend, who I later married, came. And, of course, he's from a strong spiritual background himself. So we got talking. I was telling him what was happening. So he would tell me, if you tell him this is what he's going to tell. I said, how do you know? He said, I know he's manipulating you. And truly, when he calls, Ara, I need to do, I'll put it on speakerphone. At some point, he said, start recording your conversation with him because he's going to deny things. So he will say, don't give him a response now off the phone. I will say, that was when he brought Omotola. He realized that I wasn't playing ball. He brought Omotola, the same Omotola actress.
Famous Omotola Jaladi.
Yes. She was on that platform for some time. And there was war. There was war. Not because I had anything against her, but it was pitching us against each other.
Just to achieve some sinister results.
And at that point, I was ready to leave. Then I recorded a full album with Wole Oni. He paid. Huge. Wonderful album. Then they were about to do the album launch. They said I was not going to be there. That they didn't want me to come. You know, like, God, there was so much going on that I'm even cutting off, because our interview is going to be like in almost 7 parts, so I don't cut off. I have to cut off. In my book, everything is going to be detailed. Not because I want to tarnish his image. Not because I want him to look bad. But because it is wrong, and I don't want other people to fall into this same pit that I fell in, but God brought me out. Funke Celine Dion, today, my heart bleeds for her. Because that lady was a huge talent that was quelled on that platform. And she knows. Because she's no ordinary person. And then when I talk, people will tell me, anyone no agbára kan ṣọ́ra ẹ o má yẹ kan pa ẹ má yẹ kíní kan. And I will tell them, I said, gbogbo àwọn tó bá wà no agbára kan gbogbo náà bí ọmọ. Àfẹ́wẹ́ pé àwọ̀ ọ̀dájú náà wà nìkan. Kò sẹ́ni tó bí ọmọ ẹ̀ tó fẹ́ kọ́ ọmọ ẹ̀ kú lójú ẹ̀. Kò sí, mi ò parọ́, ó tọ́ ni ohun tí mò ń sọ. But I thank God today, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ orí mi, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ orí mi, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ẹlẹ́dàá mi pé èmi náà mo wà láyé yìí tí mo dẹ̀ ti gbé láyé ṣeun rere in different ways at different levels. Nítorí pé kí ni Ọlọ́run ò kúrò níbi tó wà. It's just God. So, at this point,
there's a war for you to leave.
By the time my ex-husband, then Professor Shoyinka had an event in Marseille, France. At that time, Professor Shoyinka had invited me to his house, and he just wanted to meet me one-on-one. It was a huge honor. Still,
because I remember I sent a letter to you during your 40th birthday. He wrote a very wonderful tribute about you, and he analyzed on here and General Obasanjo.
Yes, even we did a video. And he said, Ara, and this is Professor Shoyinka, and I said, I'm just curious, why the drum? Then I told him my history. Because it's somebody that I cannot hide from my birth to the time we talk. I told him some things about me, and he smiled. He took a special interest in me. He had an event in his honor in Marseille, France. My ticket was paid, visa. The day I went for my visa, my phone was off. the founder of Atunda had called. They started looking for me. While Olaleimi had gone to the house, blah, blah, blah. Then, one day, something happened. I just got a call from him. Arangbo Olóyún. I was 33 years at this time. Arangbo Olóyún. I just looked at Arangbo Olóyún. Okay. My ex was with me then. It was then my boyfriend. I said, Sami Olóyún. He said, Ngbo. Monisa, is about Olóyún me in Shomode now? At 33? Look at Tiwa Savage. I mean, I'm talking fast forward now. Because it was making it look like I was committing murder.
As if you have done a grievous thing.
Grievous
offense.
So that day I said, sir, I don't know. And truly, I didn't even know I was pregnant. But I was, and I didn't know. Do you believe that night, when I slept, me and my ex, it was my boyfriend then, of course. When I slept, I got up to go use the restroom. I collapsed. My hand just went like this. My mouth just turned to the side. My ex was weeping. He started calling. We called, it was around 2 a.m. As in, I'm not joking, I was passing out faces, uncontrollable. This guy carried me and they rushed me to the hospital. When they took me to the hospital, they passed, they couldn't, till now, nothing. They didn't know what was wrong with me. Nothing.
It showed nothing medically?
Nothing.
Oh.
Then my mouth came back, my hand and everything. Nothing.
That is a massive spiritual attack. It happens.
Nothing. It happened around 2 a.m. Was it 1 a.m. to 2, sha? Nothing was discovered. So I got my visa. Then my ex and I, so we left together. When we got to France, we did the event, we did everything. Then I moved to Iceland with him. A week after I got to Iceland, I realized I was truly pregnant. I didn't know. So how did he know I was pregnant?
I'm surprised.
So how did he know I was pregnant? And I didn't know. So all of this, so my ex stood by me and said, I will stand by you.
Was a man meant for that season in your life?
It was. I believe he was sent there to take me out. He's a prince. His father is a royal father in Lagos, one of the A-class obas in Lagos State. So I believe his own background, traditional background, and helped him
to understand the dynamics of your challenges.
God bless you. I think that was what happened, because I didn't know.
Yeah. You are innocent and naive. Very naive.
And coupled with the fact that I had been warned by the Sele prophet that I shouldn't take this, don't take this, I will, spray the house from time to time. Then all the masks in the house, they told me there were things attached to them. So we were told to bring all the masks down. That's
a fantastic one.
You understand? So a lot happened. So when I hear when people meet me and say that, Moreo, ẹni yìí ó ní òun ta ilé òun tó bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ ó máa ń sunkún ní àwọn ṣe kinní kan ara ń dùn nǹkan tó ṣe dùn àwọn máa kàn rẹ́rìn-ín. Màá dẹ̀ rẹ́rìn-ín títí omi á dẹ̀ jábọ́ lójú mi pé if only you know, I don't want to say much. If only you know. And I'll just go and ask him, was he doing me a favor? Did he invest? When I got to La Campagne, there were only 2 rooms on that land. That expanse, you know what I mean? Yeah. The resort. Was only
that very expansive. I know.
You know that place.
When I came back from Ghana in 2003, very big.
Thank you. Everybody knows that it was during the era and period that place was, expanded. He made loads of money from Ara. Of course, I don't know if he had loans and all of that, but the Ara brand gave him a high, what's it called? It became known. Capital return 1, then 2. It became very popular. It became known. He had his what's it called? He had his what's it called? The security outfit.
That is the.
I don't want to mention because I don't want them to sue us. Yeah, he had his security outfit. He had the beach resort, but the beach resort was just picking up. Was just I think either 1 room or 2 one here. Yeah, I think it was 2. Max, yeah, I think it was 2 at that time. You know, so at the end of the day, people came to me and said, oh, you know, this money was taken from this ministry. I don't want to mention that because they're all dignitaries. I remember when I had my son in Key West, Florida, I went to I was given a car in Miami.
Car in Miami, Florida.
Yes, after my performance, and I was given a car.
Dashed a car for your creativity.
He didn't allow me to take it. He took it.
Again?
There was a time, I won't mention somebody's name now, he's a senator now. This man looked for me all over. Of course, he was interested in me as a woman at the time. The person that he was trying to use to get to me, I was told the person got 2 cars. So when this man eventually could access me through the phone, then Motorola was raining. He sent Motorola to me. The founder saw the Motorola, said I had to return. I returned it. Now, we were to go to France, Paris, to UNESCO at the time for an event, and I don't know what was happening in the country. There was no money. But me and this person, we were talking. And I now told him, I told the man that I'm supposed to be in Paris, but we couldn't go. So what happened? I said, oh, the founder couldn't access money to the bank. We need more. The man said, send somebody to my house, give them $10,000. He didn't return the $10,000 though.
The senator.
We used it. He wasn't even a senator then. He was working with he was a custom officer, a top man then, but he's a senator. Now, the man sent me a gift, a big car, ride at the time.
A big car, automobile. Brand new.
I returned the car to the man. I said I can't accept it. Of course, that was personal because at the time, what he was asking of me, I couldn't do. And I feel like, why would I be collecting something from this man when I know I can't do anything? You understand? As a matter of fact, the 10,000, I told the founder, I said, but one way or the other, I got to know that he went behind my back to visit this man. So what I'm trying to say is that he used the ARA brand to his advantage. There were, of course, a lot of top people who wanted to be with the ARA. You know, I was a young, beautiful looking, girl. I was most guys' crush. And, all the money bags. There was somebody that wanted to name his private jet after me. I won't mention the person's name. Of course, it's late now. A lot of opportunities came, not because I would have taken them, because by my own personal belief, I don't believe in being with anybody for monetary gain or anything. So, all I'm trying to say in essence is that when he talks to people like, oh, Ara, I picked her from the gutters, or I picked her on the street, I'm sorry, hell no. I came from a privileged background. My father was a bank manager. When he says, oh, I invested, I didn't make money, and you're going to ask, how do you mean you didn't make money? You made loads of millions. But people just don't want to, So I was saying about that guy in Miami. I called him when I had my baby. He said, I don't want this guy's problem. I can't do anything. Then, that was 12 years ago. But now, like, so I'm in fact, a lot of people they just tell me, look, we're just dealing with him because he has what we need, but we are very careful. She be Boboro, Leonfin, Beshuje, and people are no longer scared of him because people complain, or the same thing I complain about, the same thing the ones who are with him. Okay, look at what he did. He brought out another artist named Ara.
No, and that was like 3 years ago. We had it, and we were trying to even pin you down for an interview then, and you turned us down. We said we had that. Are you the one? Because she performed maybe at the Guinness event. Is it Guinness or which event did she perform? One big event. Yeah. And we asked you that this is not your face, but you didn't. You said you didn't want to talk then. We tried to chase you.
Yes, I didn't want to talk about it.
So how did you feel then? Impersonation.
I dreamt about it 2 years before it happened. I saw it. So when it happened, I wasn't surprised. A lot happened though in the background. Now this same when what Moiring okay was Motirikini now so Koyakuba Milero Moti notice it. So what I did was, because he always claims that he owns the brand, so he can give it to 10 people as they come and go. Ara is my name, ARALOLA. That's my given name by my late grandfather. So you can't take Ara from me. So let me tell you something. He knew what he was doing was wrong. That's why he named that Ara Thunder. He knew. If not, he would have named that Ara since he said Ara is his brand. So now this girl performed when Macron came.
President of France.
She was the one that performed at the shrine.
Oh, okay. I understand now.
Yes, my picture was on the screen. They were using my picture.
Just to deceive people, your fans. So
that's what they did. Because that day, I was actually in Alausa. I didn't know what was going on. I went to see the then commissioner. I had no clue that they was going to have that show that day. So somebody now called me from the shrine like, my boy said you are backstage. I said, I'm not at the shrine, no. Me, I'm in Alausa right now. He said, but they are taking pictures with you. And now caught somebody. I now caught somebody at the shrine. I was even told that, I'm not sure. But they said even Yemi Alade took picture with her, saying, oh, I've been wanting to meet you. I'm like, So, I don't know. Only Yemi can confirm because I wasn't there. But that was what the person said to me. So, because Yemi and I have never met physically. We've spoken on phone before. So, the person now is an insider. The person used to work with him. Said, the guy said to me, I feel bad about what's happening. Said, because they're using your profile to build up this girl. They've given her awards with your profile. You can't imagine. We now discovered that in 2017, he did an online release that I had come back to Atunda Entertainment.
Jesus Christ. I'm shocked.
It's there. It's there.
You got the fact, It's
there. The fact, everything is there online.
That you have come back to beg him.
Returns to Atunda.
You supposed to have sued him.
Well, the case is in court, especially the one for when President Macron of France came. You understand? So when the performance was going on, I started getting calls from all kinds of people like, Ara, what's going on here? Ara, what's going on here? Even at the drum festival in Abeokuta, a particular traditional ruler sent money to me, 200,000, said, you need to get a lawyer. Go and, this has to stop. This is not right. So, one for all, it affected my business in the last few years that it has been happening. It did. Naturally. You understand? But I do for long way, me. So, and so many shows like that. People, I think she had an interview here, it was Channels, and people started calling me. They said, until Alero asked her, do you know, there's an artist, because she carries I created that long braids. It wasn't Atunda that gave me long braids. Just like Atunda.
Long braids?
Yes. Because I said to the founder one day, I said, sir, I don't know of any artist who has, and no braids is as this long. There's sew to sew. My braid is longer than sew to sew. He said, what can you do? I said, I know that they do this kind of hair. Those people that braid in Badagry and Cotonou, Benin, all those places. So for the first time, they took me there. And I made that hair. It was so long. By the time I did the hair, I was coming back. Children won't party. Mommy, water don't come. Mommy, water don't. Yeah. That was how I knew I did the right thing with that hair. He gave her the hair, the similar name. Then I was told by this guy that they played my work for her day in, day out, for her to understand how I move on stage, my mannerism, everything about me.
Even your idiosyncrasies too?
Yes. Everything. Right? I don't have anything against her. But that
is a total cheating. That is defacing your identity. That is defecation of your identity and impersonation.
That's impersonation. When for instance, President of France, Nancy Macron Omokwe, it was not the real Ara, Lawori.
Fake Ara.
It was, if you want to put it that way. And etc. etc. There was one award, I think Sisi Oge, done by Idris. She was given an award when they were reading a citation, say giant in the drum kit. So what I'm saying is that my brand, my profile was used for her. So when I realized that he had written that I came back, but once if no sokwe mopada Satunda, I never went back. When I left in 2007, I never went back. But I said to him in that text I sent to him through his PA or one of his officers, I said, Baba lema jetiti lai lai. said, tí iṣẹ́ bá wà, tẹ́ bá pè mí kí n wá ṣiṣẹ́, lórí owó ni màá ṣe, màá gba owó mi màá kúrò. That is the kind of regard I had. Like I said, I'm a very optimistic person. I look at the good side, just forget the bad. It gave me a platform, don't forget. And I will forever appreciate that platform. But one share that pẹ̀lú mi. And I wrote it in that message. I said, I miss you. I miss our creative sessions. I miss all our rehearsals. But what our boys about to by me by Mama Shi, Baba Shibai, Baba Shibai, the creativity, because he has a mannerism. So we all joke about, even he knows that we joke about it. You understand? So I said, I miss those. Yes, if he cheated me. What doesn't kill you makes you strong. Now look ahead. And I said to them, if Atunda treated me when me nikuro. But at that point in time, I just wanted to. He tried to get another person to manage me, but I'll still be on the platform. But Kojora, because it's just like marrying an abuser. Because supposed to change, you go back. So our device other ways to mafi punish mentally to drag back on. So so my eyes opened when I went for deliverance, when I stopped eating some food I was given. I stopped a lot of things there. My eyes opened, I got my senses back, and I realized that no, this is wrong. Then my mom fought her way back. My late uncle was the DG for health, Dr. Kutei, in Lagos State at some point. He was actually the one that allowed my parents to let me go back. When they were trying to say, leshe, Uncle Mimak pay popsy me because first cousin dad me know. My grandma is Kutei. Okay. Called him, my dad and my mom, and said, stop disturbing her. He was the one. It was late Dr. Kutei. Former DG Health, Lagos State.
Was he at your 40th birthday in 2015?
No. Okay. His son was there. Okay. My cousin DG. Cousin Deji Kutei.
The name was mentioned by the MC.
Yes, cousin Deji Kutei and his younger siblings, they were there. They came because we are all extremely close, and they're all very proud of me. Their mom is still alive today. She's a Da Silva. She's still alive today. Auntie, I will call she's auntie, but she's mommy because she's old, So the experience with this man, and I pity anybody he tells anything to, and because I see some people using it against me, and I'm like, because your kids don't. I don't believe in but whoever pay adabi because be contract me as an artist fulfill half of which is why they gbé wọn padà síbẹ̀ pé tí ṣe báyìí kò báyìí lẹ sọ pé ẹ máa ṣe wọ́n á tún máa bá mi fà wàhálà ń gbà yẹn ni. So I thank God for the wonderful people that He used to open my eyes and my spiritual mind and spiritual eyes to understand what I was in the middle of. And then my mom, God bless her, for fighting her way back. Say because then when I got there, if they bring food for me from the house, he will throw it away. If they bring agbo, because there's this stomach, to man do me. One need jacking for one need jacking one will believe hocus pocus or a back on kini kon shele. A lot of things happened. But ara no ni lónìí tí gbogbo ayé nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí kò síbi tí mo dé ara àtọmọdé àtàgbà àtobìnrin àtọkùnrin àtòyìnbó all over the world ara náà ni ọmọ fi sọ pé what doesn't kill you makes you strong.
Let me quickly ask you this question because it's also important. How do you advise artists? I mean, I've seen a lot of artists, they are shining today, 1 year, 2 years, they go up to the heights of the zenith, and just 3 years down the line, they are the lowest rung of the ladder, begging. Some cannot even say this is what they have. How do you help them in terms of how do you get creative awareness? I mean, spiritual awareness, because a lot of them, when they become successful, they have a special advisor on fashion, special advisor on press officer, and all sort of advisors. But the spiritual thing is that they don't have spiritual advisor. What do you think that role of a spiritual advisor can do, because you are now a spiritual advisor to yourself. Because a lot of things were open to your eyes that you are in a bondage, in a shining bondage. Your case was almost like those of the Israelites in Egypt until Moses came to liberate them, Moses and Aaron.
Yes. What we do, missionary, is Ishayeni. You know, music is highly spiritual. And it has the angels that controls it. And if you're not careful, I experienced it. There were times that I was even homeless. They didn't know what I was passing through. There were times I went through that in the last years. But people will not, my landlord threw me out. I sold my cars.
Because I knew there was a time you had a lot of cars. You have a G-Wagon, Hummer Jeep.
I sold everything. I went through that phase. Inyebe, spiritual angle. One thing that I am blessed with is the discipline sexually. Yes. Most artists don't have it. Especially atọkùnrin àtobìnrin o, gbogbo obìnrin tó bá ti rí bí bá láṣepọ̀ ni àwọn obìnrin yẹn náà wọ́n mọ̀ ló sọ.
On saw the shop right.
On saw the shop right ọjà gbogbo ayé.